Hello and welcome to another session on advertising. Hello and welcome to another session on advertising. I'm Swati Singh and our subject expert today is Ms. Simrat Gulati. With nearly 3 decades of experience in advertising, marketing, consumer behavior and public relations, and have been teaching as guest faculty in AJKMCRC Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi. Today, we are looking at an important aspect which is related to the foundation of marketing and advertising, and that is the concept of a brand. What is a brand? How do we define it? How do we describe it? What does it mean to the consumer or to you and me? Are brands made or created? If yes, then how is it done? Who creates or makes a brand? So many questions and so much to learn and understand. Well, let's get down to it and start with understanding the meaning of this word and concept. So, what is a brand? This is what we need to look at first. Before we get into the formal definition, we first need to clear our concepts. And the important thing here being the difference between a product or a brand. A product is anything we can offer to a market for attention, acquisition, use, or consumption that might satisfy a need or a want. A product may be a physical good, a service, a retail outlet, a person, an organization, a place, or even an idea. It is the actual use or service being offered to the consumer. So we can have a shampoo or a detergent or banking services or mobile services, and each of them is a product or a product category. What we see is that the same product is made or offered by many different companies or manufacturers or sources. So the consumer needs to differentiate between each of these. The products offered by a company would need to be differentiated from the one offered by another company. This is where the concept of a brand comes in. The brand is how the product is differentiated coming from different sources or manufacturers or even competitors. So a brand is a name, term, sign, symbol or design or a combination of all of them, intended to identify the goods and services of one seller or group of sellers and to differentiate them from those of its competitors. This is the basic reason for branding or creating or making a brand. From the brand name, we are able to identify the product of a particular company. Let's take an example from our everyday life to understand this. Cola drink is a product, but there are different ones available in the market. We have Coca-Cola or Pepsi or Thumbs Up, which are the different brands available. For the consumer or user, each one of these have a different taste or feel, and depending on personal preferences, every person will choose one of them. What the person is looking for is his own choice of taste and feel of the product, and that's where the brand name is used to identify what he or she wants. So the brand is what differentiates one product from the other. It helps the user or consumer to identify his specific need or choice also. The product that he wants from a particular or specific source or market, he is able to identify or choose by the brand name or the brand. There are numerous toothpastes in the market and are made and sold by many different companies. It's the brand and its name that helps me identify and decide which one I want and which one is of my choice. Also, it's the brand and it's the name that helps me to buy and get the same thing which I can bought earlier or I'm replacing. So the brand name, its appearance in terms of logo, packaging, typical color, and design are all doing this work for the user. This is what is brand in its first stage of understanding. The very basic way of recognizing and identifying a particular product amongst so many similar ones. Consequent to this, once we talk of a particular product, we see that it needs to create a place for itself in the market and in the user's mind. So the brand acquires an image, a recognition, a reputation, or we can say a brand is something that has actually created certain amount of awareness, reputation, prominence, and so on in the marketplace. So to start understanding about the brand, these are the basics. Something to recognize a product by, something to differentiate it by, and something to prefer it by. Let us examine it from the point of view of the user or the consumer, and also from the point of view of the product or manufacturer. What does a brand mean to the consumer? Of what use is a brand to the consumer? What are the problems a consumer faces with regard to any product that they buy? Symbolic device. Firstly, the consumer needs any device or means to recognize a specific product. So, the name, color, logo, and packaging, or what we all call branding, is what helps the consumer to identify the product, its manufacturer or producer. So, the brand becomes the symbolic device for this identification and recognition. Identification of the source of the product. Next, the consumer needs to know who is making this product, and based on that, the nature, quality, dependability, and performance of the product will get defined. Also, the consumer needs a way of identifying what he needs to buy. He needs the same thing what he bought last time, and he wants to rebuy it because he liked what he used and wants the same thing again. How do I explain to anyone, including the seller, as to what I want? The brand name is the much needed input. Just take the name or see it on a display in the shop and say, this is what I want. It eases identification for me, and also communication about it becomes simpler. No lengthy explanation about companies A toothpaste which is with less sugar or has salt, or just the brand says it all. Assignment of responsibility to product maker. Next, the consumer needs to know where is this product coming from and who is responsible for its performance and functioning, who has set the manufacturing standards and requirements for this product, who is accountable for anything going wrong with this product. The consumer also needs to know what the product will be like in terms of quality, performance, and content. The source of the person from where the brand comes indicates this. Each manufacturer has his own level and standard of content, so the branding tells us all this also. Signal of quality, consistent quality. Along with assignment of accountability, one of the most important functions of a brand is the consumer life is that it is a signal or indicator of quality and consistent performance. Knowing the brand name and which is the company from where the brand comes gives us a clear idea of what is going to be the quality and how that product is going to function. Not all products or brands are meant to be of high quality or top performance. Different level of quality, price, and performance are needed by different people. So we have various levels of brand to cater to the varied needs. The same manufacturer may make different brands for different level of needs of the target segments. So the brand becomes an indicator or representation of the quality and level of performance. The brand name tells us what kind of a product it will be like. That is an important indicator and helps the consumer make a choice as per his preferences. You want a superior laptop with high quality hardware and software? Then it's one brand you choose. But if you want a laptop with average hardware and short life, then it's another one. The name or the brand will tell us how the product is like and how it will perform. Another example. If you want a detergent for washing special clothes, then it would be a different brand to the one to be used for washing rough and daily use clothes. The brand will indicate to us the quality and performance of the product. Also, a brand indicates maintenance of quality and performance. When a consumer buys a particular brand, he is expecting it to give the same level of performance all through. He thinks or expects that it will be exactly like what it was the last time and will remain the same in the future as well. That is why he buys or chooses a particular brand and sticks to it. The brand is not expected to spring a surprise at him and will just remain constant. So to get this constant, I need to identify or recognize which product will give me this and that is the brand I have chosen. Promise, bond, or pact with product maker. What the consumer is also looking for is a commitment and reassurance about the performance of the product. Someone who will give a guarantee and also ensure service and assistance and honor the commitment whenever required. The brand, its owner, and maker are the ones who give this promise. So that's why a brand of importance to the consumer. To quite an extent, the reputation of the manufacturer is built and maintained through the brand. Continuity. A brand indicates a maintenance of quality and performance. This is an important aspect for the consumer. If they like something or are happy with the performance of any product, they would like to buy the same thing again. How to recognize or identify the same thing? Well, that's where branding comes in. They go and buy the same name or brand and it becomes easy for them to identify it and ask for it. Also, consumers know that buying this particular same thing again will give them exactly what all I got last time in terms of features and benefit, taste, performance, and likes. This continuity is what the consumer is looking for, and brands provide exactly this. The brand name makes it easy for the consumer to get this continuity and permanence. Search cost reducer. When the consumer is to make a purchase, there is a lot of search of information, details and views involved. The consumer looks for facts and figures and wants to know about features and benefits and asks others about their experience of recommendation. This is the whole process of pre-purchase search by the consumer. This involves a lot of effort and work as the consumer searches for information through many sources and asks questions to people, users and dealers. What happens to this when we buy a brand or are able to identify a brand of choice? The mere fact that the brand is recognized and identified means that we already know about it all. We know what we are going in for and what is the quality, commitment, and performance of the brand. A known identity, or in this case the brand or the branded item, definitely is preferred based on its past performance and reputation. Our effort, time and work on doing search gets reduced considerably just because we get to know about the brand and its name. So, branding anything actually is benefiting the consumer by saving the consumer's search effort. By recognizing a product by its maker and its features, that is the brand name, the consumer saves on time, physical effort, energy and cost related to it. This is a major advantage to the consumer and that's why they prefer buying brands or branded items. Status or style statement. Now, we look at a totally different angle to this branding and brand story. What does using a recognized brand or symbol do to the consumer and his mind? How does it make me feel when people see me with a popular brand or I flash the logo of a well-recognized and famous brand? What usually happens is that using a famous, well-known brand gets appreciation for me, boosts my ego and adds to my image and reputation. It affects my psychology and adds to my confidence. Brands contribute to helping the consumer enhance his self-confidence and giving him a feel-good factor. They make him feel that he is doing the right thing or has made the right choice, and his peers or social circle also approves of it and approve of me and my behavior. So the consumer uses brand choices to gain the approval and consent of his friends and acquaintances. So in a way, brand helps the consumer to portray and communicate his status in the society. This is another important function of the brand performs in the life of the consumer. This is when brand gets associated as status symbol or style statement. Brands are used by consumers to flash their status in society or amongst other social circles. Specific brands gain that reputation of being the one to be used to impress others, and their citing is an indication of wealth, luxury, or style. So we have all the designer brands or exclusive brands which are expensive and elite and are serving this need of the consumer. In fact, in common talk, when we say that we want branded items or brand is very important to us, is the aspect people are talking about. Branded usually refers to the status and elite aspect of a product. But our discussion has revealed to us that brand is not limited to only this, but brand means a lot more than just status and showing off. It indicates quality, performance, and commitment, and is very vast and a broad concept. It's this whole wide concept of a brand that gets included in the brand's being status symbol. It's the entire reputation of the brand that leads to it becoming a status symbol or an exclusive luxury symbol. Satisfaction or reinforcement of belief. As brand becomes representative of thoughts and ideas, depending on the philosophy of the company or manufacturer, or the brand stands for a value or image, the user or the consumer also selects a brand based on his own value system. The consumer uses the brand to portray his own thought process. He uses the brand to convey his own philosophy or to tell the world what he stands for. The brand used or selected is in convergence with his thought process. So, if the consumer is practical in nature, he will select down to earth brands. If the consumer wants to show off his status, he will use stylish or luxury brands. And if the consumer is patriotic, he will select brands of Indian origin. So, brands are selected to communicate the thoughts of the individual, and they also support and reinforce this value system. As a consumer, the thought is, yes, this is my kind of brand and it agrees with my mindset and supports my thinking. This is an important function of a brand for the marketer. It is this aspect which the marketer uses for planning out the entire strategy and the entire course of the brand. Its image and positioning is based on this. Risk reducer. Another very practical aspect of the concept of a brand is to do with the big problem it solves for the consumers. Whenever we buy something or decide to buy something, we perceive certain risk in making the choice or taking a decision. So, as a user or consumer or buyer, we have doubts about what we are buying. Will it work? Will the quality be good? Am I paying the right price for it? Am I making the right choice as far as technology is concerned? Will it be safe and have no side effects? Is it genuine or fake? There are so many doubts like this for the consumer. The solution to all this is to buy anything branded. As already discussed, brands are reliable and have a promise to keep, so they reduce our risk of quality, price, technology, image, and genuineness. So brands reduce the risk for the consumer. From our discussion so far, we see that brand is not just a physical representation, but has many more dimensions to it for the consumer. It gives the consumer so many advantages, and over the time, both the consumer and the marketer or the firm manufacturing the brand have learned the importance of it. What is the importance of brands to firms? We ask. To firms, a brand represents enormously valuable pieces of legal property capable of influencing consumer behavior, being bought and sold, and providing the security of sustained future revenues. It is the core strength of their business. It is the means by which their specific product gets recognized, and it is the basis on which they would build, plan, and execute the future of their business. Practically, it is the identification to simplify handling or tracing or in the logistics of manufacturing and distributing the goods and services. Legally protecting unique features, signal of quality level, endowing products with unique association for brand building and strategizing for the firm. Source of competitive advantage, source of financial returns. Once we have understood the whole meaning and idea of a brand, we now wonder what all can be branded. And can anything and everything be branded? Well, ultimately a brand is something that resides in the mind of a consumer. And the key to branding is that consumer perceives difference among brands in a product category. So even commodities can be branded. Coffee, Nescafe Brew. Bathing soap, Lux. Flour, Ashirvad. Milk, Mother Dairy or Paras. Salt, Tata. Pickles, Mother's Recipe. Apples, Washington. Chicken, Wenky's. Even water, Bisleri or Kinley. Services can be branded. People or personalities also. So we can conclude that in today's world, just about everything can be branded. Physical goods, services, retailers and distributors, online products and services, people and personalities, organizations, sports, arts, entertainment, events and functions, geographical locations, ideas and causes. So now we have a clear understanding of what is a brand and how branding is done, and brands are more than just to do with style, show off and status. And buying branded item means much more to the consumer than just a statement of themselves. So the next time you are buying or selecting something to purchase, the brand and its implications, which we have done today, will surely come back to you, and you would be able to understand better what all we have discussed today. So brands have a lot to do with image, reputation, feelings, emotions and performance. It takes time and effort to build on this and to achieve success. How this is done, we will do in another lesson on brands and branding. Thank you for being with me. We shall continue this journey of brands and in this coming session. Till then, goodbye.